Everybody, welcome back to the Migraine Mentors minicast. We are your hosts, Dr. Eric Reese, and with my colleague, Dr. Thompson Mayasaka. Thompson, say a little something to the camera.
We'll summon to the camera, guys. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of just come in here and talk about. I mean, every week we talk about a specific topic, a specific, aspect of managing your migraine, whether it's diet, nutrition, exercise, sleep. I mean, those of you who follow us kind of know the gig right now. But we kind of wanted to talk about what we're thinking and what we're planning and what we're excited about, what we're frustrated with, and things along those lines. And we set out originally to start this newsletter because we wanted to share as much information as we can that we tell our patients every day. And for a lot of us, we feel as though we say a lot of the same talking points every day with specific patients or specific messages we're trying to give out. And so the reason we wanted to do that is because this is scalable, right? So we can write one article, we can affect, hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people, and they get to benefit from that. We only have to do it once. And so that was the whole focus of the newsletter. Where we're at now is we've published consistently over the last 19 weeks. So we've had 19 newsletters come out. There's been variations and different focuses and changes we've put into it. And while we're happy with where things have gone, we're still not fully satisfied. So we just wanted to come on and just talk about like our journey and what we're doing and what we're trying and what we're realizing works and what doesn't. And so we're here to just kind of share some lessons and then hopefully at some point get some feedback from you, the viewers. So Thompson, anything that you wanted to start off with or anything that you wanted to talk about learnings, the things that we thought we knew that maybe we didn't? It's always just kind of humbling to get those things out into the ether.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're going to try and do for you guys, the people listening out there, is just simplify things and diversify the sources of information. I think that's the feedback that we've consistently gotten. And I think when we heard that, it kind of took a little bit of humility to admit, okay, we have a lot of things to say and good points and a lot of good clinical experience, but so do a lot of other people. And so we're going to really start to branch out and expose you guys to the other creators that we think are good and just round out the content that we give you guys to make it as good as possible and not just have it be what we like and what we, think is important. Because if you're watching this, I mean, you've probably heard no less than 20 points of view on what helps migraines. You've probably heard the medical model and you've heard a nutritional model and you've heard chiropractors that say it's all about the upper two bones in your neck. And you've heard, chakra healers that say it's the balance between the second, fourth, and sixth. Like so much stuff out there. And I think there's value in all of it, to be honest with you. And I think that every person out there listening, has a perfect collection of different things that's ultimately going to work for them. So I think it's Eric, our job to just collect good information from every vantage point we can think of and not just have it be what we think is the right answer, because, people will find value in things that we don't do. And I think it's our obligation as people that just genuinely want to help migraine people to expose them to as many things as possible. I think that's the biggest shift that we're going to make for you guys.
Yeah, I think one thing that has been, we'll say humbling, which is I think probably the appropriate answer is, when we're in school and we're going to get our doctorates and you do all this medical training, we're taught all of these big terms, these big medical Latin terms that every doctor in the world uses today. And then they get in front of a patient and they use those same words and they completely miss the opportunity to connect, build value, build trust, and actually educate the patient in front of them. And so, Matt Thompson, you're so much better at this than I am, but like just trying to break things down in a simplistic manner, using good metaphors and making sure that you understand like what is being said to you and what's being asked of you, because then you can actually take that information and use it and implement it into your life. And so we've been on this journey of, trying to learn all of this language, all of these things, and they're really important for us to understand so we can talk to our colleagues and other medical providers about what's going on. But when it comes to being public facing, it's such a different conversation. And so if you look at the progression of the newsletter and even what we've been trying to do, even on like social media and just with patients, we're really trying to build up really strong, beneficial analogies, not use big terms. Like nobody cares about, the thalamocortical pathway. Like, what does that even mean? It means something to us, but as a patient, that shouldn't matter to you, right? You just say, doc, what does that mean that I need to change or do? And so you're going to see a lot of changes in the way we present things as well, too, to make it easily digestible, very simple, and very basic. Basic doesn't mean that it's simple or easy to implement. It just means that you can understand it and digest it. And so I know that's one thing for me as I edit what we write and put in. I'm definitely going to be hyper aware of, and you'll see changes in that as well too. Thompson, you and I were just talking, literally 15 minutes ago about kind of what other changes we're looking to make. Can you just maybe provide some insights for other people about what they can also maybe be looking forward to? We're going to be doing a lot more posting of social media accounts and people that we think are, really, really giving good information out there. Talk to them maybe a bit more about whetting their palate and understanding hopefully what else they're going to be able to see in our newsletter.
Yeah, I mean, to our conversation, I mean, one point that we bring up a lot is in Japanese, the word for doctor translates to sensei. So they value educating patients for good reason. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was it'll come to me as I tell you the story. It might have been Andrew Huberman. He always talks about this analogy of they took this collection of hotel cleaners and ultimately wanted to figure out if sharing information with them and helping them understand that the amount that they're moving is enough to lose a significant amount of weight. If just helping them understand the context of their job is actually what weight loss is made of, if they understood that, would that change their lifestyle in a way that could promote weight loss? And it did. They basically took half of the people and told them, hey, you're exercising. You're doing the hard part that most people hate. So with that, I mean, all you have to do is change a few basic things about what you eat and you'll lose a significant amount of weight. And they basically didn't tell anything to the other group. And what they found was educating these people and putting context into why doing these things is important was enough of a catalyst to get them to change their behavior. And I think that's the keystone of good information is how easily that information helps you change your behavior in this context. So Eric, to answer your question, I mean, we're still going to provide all of the information, but we're just going to provide it to you in takeaways more. So we're not going to try and explain everything to the depth that we've been forced to understand it by. It's just not important for you guys. You just need, okay, what do I do? What do I do with this information? And that's really going to be the focus for you guys. And, we take ownership of what we've put out in the past. And, I think one of the things that, especially in the neuro field, you're kind of perhaps a little defensive of, okay, I need science behind everything that I do because, other people are going to look at what we do and say, well, it's not evidence-based. Evidence-based is a huge sort of hot word in our profession. So if you're evidence-based, there's generally more perceived credibility, if you will. And so because of that, we're kind of trained to justify everything that we put out with really thorough evidence. If you look back at some of our early newsletters, you'll see that it was just basically a research article. And that's on us. We apologize if you read that and you were like, I don't care, or all of this is over my head. So moving forward, we're going to still take that information and just cut it down into, okay, there's the study. It's got a bunch of info. Here's what you need out of it. And so just make it a lot more user-friendly. And so you can just scroll through it and say, oh, it's an article on tension headaches. Apparently this is helpful for tension headaches. I'm going to take that. And we want the whole thing just to be bite-sized pieces of helpful tips for you instead of, a 1,000-word research summary that you'll probably forget about immediately.
Yeah, don't fret. We're very good at writing 1,000-word research articles. That's just not the main focus for what we want to do for this newsletter. And I think looking back and doing an audit, Thompson and I met at the end of the year last year and just kind of talked about, wins, losses, where we want to move and how we want to move forward to. And we really want to make this an inclusive community, right? So by no means do we think we know everything about this space. And I think just having an ego would just point you in the direction of saying, oh, well, it's I need to do everything. I need to have everything. I need to know everything. And I think that that's so unrealistic. I think sometimes the best parts about this, these platforms and these groups is the community, is the people, is the stuff where you're like, oh, this is interesting, or oh gosh, this aligns with my path, or we submit a video and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this person's in my backyard. Like I've been looking for a doc or a provider who gets it, who I can start working with. Like, you know, we see patients all day, every day, but like that doesn't mean you have to absolutely work with us. Like, you know, there are other opportunities there for you to get benefits and relief. And so we really wanted to kind of just communicate that. I think sometimes just keeping complete transparency is like the best part about this. For those of you who are following our journey, like it's always interesting. Maybe you're an entrepreneur yourself and you struggle with migraine and you're like, oh, I struggle with some of the same things you guys do, you know, so there's ways to always kind of connect with that. But at the end of the day, we're human. We care about this community so much because we have experienced it firsthand. We've seen so many people in our lives struggle with it. We've seen patients with it as well. And we really believe it's an underserved group that does need a lot more education and empowerment. So you're going to see changes moving forward. You'll see things that you like, things that you don't like. We're going to be trying a bunch of different stuff, and we're just going to keep learning. So stick with us. And if you have feedback that you want to share, we're open to it. So, you know, email us at themigrainementors@gmail.com. And we're always open for feedback and taking that into consideration for next editions. So, Thompson, anything that you would want to leave the group with before we kind of check out?
I would just double down on this. This is about you guys. This is not about us. It's not about what we think is good. It's not about what we think is going to be helpful. It's about what's actually helpful. And you're the authority on what's helpful. 1000%. We will not get butthurt or defensive with any feedback. If you want something to change in this that will help you, we're totally open to it and we'll change it immediately.
Yeah.
So just take that into consideration as we are here for you. This is a newsletter for you, and it can be by you in a lot of ways. So if you have something that you wish we would talk about, or, you know, if you're just glazing over with boredom because all the content is too, you know, scientific and, you know, wordy, we'll change it for you. We want this to be the best experience for you, and we're willing to do whatever it is that it takes to make it good for you. So email us, shoot us a message. We're always open to the feedback.
Call us, page us, beep us. I mean, whatever you're using these days, the young kids these days. So
I got my pager on me at all times.
you do, yeah. It's annoying how often it goes off. Actually, I'm always wondering who's up. So with that being said, that's a great opportunity for us to, we'll cut this. We'll send this out to you as well. For those of you who are following us for the Migraine Mentors newsletter, thank you so much. For those of you who aren't, who are just coming onto this, like, go check it out. Go read a couple previous editions. Subscribe if you align with our vision and our goal. Our goal is to help you genuinely just take less medication and manage your migraine symptoms in a more holistic, integrative approach, and hopefully just get you to not actually have to deal with them again long term. So if you want to subscribe, there's a subscribe button below in the description on the YouTube video that we put out. And we look forward to just hearing from everybody and seeing what the next future couple of months look like for us. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to the next edition. So we'll see you all later.